on there. That would be prevalent in southern areas of Cuyahoga County now. This is near Columbia. Eaton Estates getting ready to push into Berea, up towards the Cleveland area here eventually. Out towards the east side, we've got heavy rain falling as well, moving north and east pretty slowly, and then down to the south, some hit or miss showers. We're not done. That's the problem. The rainfall rates have been so efficient with this. We're talking up to 2 inches an hour with this. The deep moisture continues to flow out of the Gulf. We've got one more day of this, and then we'll start to move this pattern, but that may not be a good thing. I'll bring you that forecast coming up. Jay.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. We'll see you in just a few minutes. Now to the latest in the case against that Nickelodeon star who admitted to having inappropriate conduct with a minor. Our January Keaton has been following this story closely. She was in court today. She's in our newsroom now, and she joins us now with the latest on sentencing. January, good afternoon to you.
Hey there, Jay. Good to see you back. Yeah, former Nickelodeon television star Drake Bell, he'll spend no time behind bars after allegedly having inappropriate sexual conduct with a minor who was a fan of his. Now today, Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Judge Timothy McCormick sentenced the star to probation and community service. Now, Bell pleaded guilty last month to attempted endangerment of a child and disseminating harmful materials for alleged inappropriate contact he had with that female fan. Now, the victim says she began messaging Bell through social media 7 years ago when she was just 12 years old. And Bell immediately, she says, began grooming her. She said the two had sexual contact backstage at the Odeon. Y'all know it's down in the Flats when she attended one of his concerts in Cleveland at 15 years old. 35-year-old Bell denies sexual contact, but he does admit to exchanging inappropriate text messages and photos with the victim. Today, he offered her an apology.
I accept this plea because my conduct was wrong. I'm sorry that the victim was harmed in any way, but that was obviously not my intention. Again, I just want to apologize to her and anyone else who may have been affected by my actions.
Now, Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court Judge Timothy McCormick sentenced Bell to 2 years probation, 200 hours of community service, and he can have no further contact with the victim. Now, Bell's lawyer says the actor just wants to go back to doing what he loves, which is entertaining. Meantime, the victim says her parents have spent nearly $8,000 on therapy to get her past this incident, Jay.
All right, January Keaton with all the details. January, thanks. Now, on your feet at 5. So what's the deal with the booster shot that we're hearing so much about? Do we need one or not? Pfizer is meeting with U.S. health officials today after announcing last week a booster shot to go along with their vaccine may be needed within a year. They are currently seeking approval for a third dose of their vaccine.
Now, the FDA and CDC came out quickly over the weekend to say that Americans don't need a booster shot right now. So, of course, who are we going to turn to help us sort all this out? Let's roll her out once again. Senior health correspondent Monica Robbins. What is going on with this?
Oh, there are three things we need to remember that everybody needs to keep in mind. First of all, it is not up to Pfizer or any other pharmaceutical company to say we need a booster. The government will take in their data and their research, but they're also going to look at real world data to make the call of when it's time. So what are we watching for? Well, with the Delta variant now making up more than 40% of new cases, the canary in the coal mine is when we start seeing vaccinated people getting sick and needing hospitalization. So likely the elderly or the first inoculated, like the healthcare workers, will be the ones who need boosters first. Who may need a booster now? Well, those who are in the clinical trials. It's been nearly a year since their initial doses. These are the people who will help us with the data, and university hospitals will begin booster shots with its trial participants in the next few days.
I think that the federal government was just trying not to create panic in terms of people saying, oh, well, Pfizer says we need a booster. No, what Pfizer says is they're going to start looking at boosters. And the federal government was saying at this point, you know, people who've been vaccinated don't need one. And I think that at some point, the two will come together once Pfizer has the data and the federal government feels it's time. And then we'll go ahead and give people boosters if needed.
So studies suggest that the 2 doses of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine offer good protection against the highly transmissible Delta variant, especially in reducing risk of severe illness and hospitalizations. However, Pfizer told the Associated Press last week that their early data from their booster study shows antibody rates jump 5 to 10-fold after a 3rd dose. But again, there is still a lot of research needed. For instance, we have antibody tests, but we don't know the number of antibodies, also known as titers, that are needed to help prevent infection. So hopefully we're going to get that additional data in the coming weeks.
I can see how that would be very tricky. Yes, they're there, but are they there in abundance to fight the virus?
And titers, we know, like when you get the measles shot or, any other type of vaccine, we know we can take your blood, look at your titers and see if you have enough to prevent it. And like the measles, typically most people need it every 10 years.
Yeah. So you've told us here time and again, and most of the headlines that we see tell us that the vaccines that we've been given are good enough to protect us against this Delta variant. But I saw recently there was a study out of Israel that shows the Pfizer vaccine in particular is not as effective against the Delta variant. So what is it?
Yeah, you and my sister-in-law both hammering me on this. Like, what's going on, Monica? Okay, so Dr. Hoyen says Israel has been testing everybody for COVID, testing everybody. And they also have a phenomenal vaccination rate among their citizenry. So they are finding cases among asymptomatic people. She also said that we're learning that asymptomatic people don't transmit as well as somebody who's coughing or sneezing, for example. So while Israel's data shows the vaccine efficacy dropped to 64%, what's most important is that they also found the vaccine is still 93% effective in preventing hospitalizations and severe symptoms. And that's what we care about. By this time in 5 years, everybody's going to have COVID at one point. We want to keep people out of the hospital, and that's why the vaccines are so important.
It is so important.
Makes sense.
Get it done if you didn't do it, if you can. Certainly. All right, Monica, thank you.
Sure.
Well, there's also been a little confusion regarding masking policies for the upcoming school year. The CDC issued new guidance for students and staff heading back to the classroom this fall. Brandon Simmons spells out the details.
Have a good day. With summer vacation already half over, school administrators are laser focused on next school year. And so is the CDC, issuing new guidance that prioritizes students learning in the classroom.
If a school or classroom is not able to maintain at least 3 feet distancing, that should not keep any kids out of the classroom.
When distancing isn't possible, masks are the #1 safety measure in play. The CDC now recommending that masks are worn by those ages 2 and older who are unvaccinated. Those who are fully vaccinated can lose the mask altogether, except when riding public transportation. But that guidance differs from what some schools already have planned.
We explained that masks would not be mandatory in any shape or form.
Parma schools issued guidance at the end of June, making masks optional in the district, at a time when schools were given no guidance at all.
Really has been a very frustrating time for superintendents and principals and then teachers and families to really navigate what is often mixed messages.
The CDC has now given guidance, but so far the Ohio Department of Health and local boards of health are silent, leaving schools to make the call. Meanwhile, legislators are also working on a House bill that would contradict what the CDC says.
And House Bill 244 coming out of the Ohio legislature specifically says that we cannot treat vaccinated and unvaccinated students in any different ways.
Administrators were hoping to start the year with clear rules surrounding COVID-19. Instead, the rules may change several times before then.
Now, bottom line, at this point, each school district has its own rules surrounding masks this fall as we wait for more information to come from those local agencies that they were talking about. And I was reminded again today that, of course, everything is subject to change. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens, Betsy.
And just like last year, we were waiting right up until the start of school for the instructions. So here we go again. Stay patient, folks. All right. Thanks so much, Brandon.
Straight ahead on what's new, as prices for just about everything in the United States continue to rise, rent prices are now skyrocketing as well. We have tips, though, that may help you negotiate a better deal.
And what happens when the children of 2 of America's funniest comedians meet? We have the details ahead in your Monday Pop Break.
And Matt Wintz, hello again to you. So much for that rain shortage we were talking about just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, you know, last night, Jay, I was looking at the latest totals, and we are almost even in Cleveland now. We were 5 inches below average. Look at the rain pushing into Cuyahoga County right now. Progressive, thank goodness, Tribe's off for All-Star break. Heavy rain moving in, not just here in Cuyahoga County, but area-wide across northeast Ohio. We've got a flash flood watch and a couple warnings to talk about. But your outdoor dining forecast, boy, what a day to have outdoor dining, huh? No, not the case. You want to bring it indoors today. We've got some soggy conditions expected. We'll let you know how long this lasts, though. There is light at the end of the tunnel. I've got it for you coming up next.
It's Money Monday right here on What's New, and we have 3 top money stories to tell you about.
Yeah, we all know that prices, particularly for homes, are skyrocketing. Really, prices seem to be going up on everything. But as you might expect, if home prices are going up, same's going to happen for rent prices, and we're seeing that now. In fact, for the month of May, rent nationwide made its biggest monthly jump in 6 years. The average rent up 5.5%. May 2021 from just May 2020. In fact, according to Rentable, the price of a 1-bedroom apartment is just over $1,100 a month now. A 2-bedroom, on average, will cost you $1,300 a month. So what do you do if you're trying to land that apartment that you really can't afford? Well, here's a couple of tips. Ask for things. Ask if they'll throw in free parking, or maybe even try to negotiate a free month's rent. You never know. Also, consider widening your search to a slightly bigger area and be ready to negotiate those rates. Remember, they're not written in stone. Sometimes landlords will come down, and it never hurts to try.
Well, if you've been hoping for new outdoor furniture this summer, you're going to be waiting a while.
I ordered my patio furniture in March. I'm still waiting for it. I've got this great backyard, but nowhere for anybody to sit.
I placed the order December 20th, and they're en route. I don't know which route they took, but I'm waiting for them.
Well, sales at Ace Hardware are up more than 26% company-wide. There's a couple reasons for the shortage. The demand skyrocketed because groups are looking to gather safely outdoors during the pandemic. On the larger scale, there are stranded shipping containers because there's a lack of truck drivers to deliver the furniture. Come on, truck drivers. The shortage could last all the way into 2023.
That guy cracked me up. I don't know what route they took,
yeah,
but it ain't here yet. All right, the type of clothes that we are buying is shifting. The CEO of Poshmark, that's an online reseller, says that consumers are purging their closets. He said more people are buying going out clothes and work dresses as more and more of us now are returning to the office. Bathing suits, and get this surprised me, jean shorts have actually doubled in sales on that particular site. Meanwhile, sweats and other outfits associated with working out, well, those sales have slowed down. It's because during the pandemic, we all bought all that kind of stuff because that's what we were working from home in. Now we got to go back to work. You got to look nice again.
There you go. Yeah. And it's funny, the retail sales side of things, it really seems like the sales aren't quite the sales that they were pre-pandemic yet. Like the prices just aren't coming down. So as we uncork all the blockades, or the shortages we got going, it's going to be interesting in the middle of winter. Could we have fabulous patio furniture sales now that they?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Now that they drove them around, I would totally buy in the middle of December if it's a good deal.
That's the smart time to do it. So back to the jean shorts for a second. I call them jorts. Do you own a pair?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. I can't even remember the last time I had a pair of jorts. They've been out for a very long time, but apparently, according to that site, they're all the rage. And I know Matt Wentz. I saw Matt in a pair just yesterday.
Really?
Yeah, he really rocks those jorts.
We call it casual Sunday around here. So, Betsy, you obviously aren't in the studio, but I was rocking those all day.
I like it.
Very accurate forecast, too. They really help me think.
It's like a thinking cap. Oh, your weather word today is canoe.
Oh, that's fitting.
Because some people might be able to use a canoe as a mode of transportation, as much rain as we've been getting.
Yeah, we've got some serious flood concerns, especially southern Cuyahoga County right now, Jay and Betsy, with ongoing and imminent flooding. I mean, the problem isn't that we have a lot of rain coming through the area. It's the fact that we've already had a lot of rain, and the rainfall rates are so heavy right now in some of these showers and thunderstorms that the drainage just can't keep up with it whatsoever. So pretty serious concerns as we go throughout the evening area. We've got a flash flood watch in the dark green area. We've got our flash flood warning. That means flooding is imminent in this area. You'll likely encounter that. Just best to get home if you're heading to work or heading home from work right now and stay there. Aerial flood advisory. This is brand new. That means there are portions of that area that could be dealing with some flooding here. All goes through tonight. Bottom line, we've got a lot of rain falling across the Cleveland metro area, greater Cleveland down towards the south. That's where the threat is. Radars lighten up this afternoon. We've got deep tropical moisture over the area. Lots of heavy rain. That's what the red means. We've even had a couple funnel clouds reported. This is not rooted down to the surface, but something you really don't want to mess around with. Get inside if you see one of those. But all sorts of problems right now. Here's some of the rainfall reports. This one just outside of Mansfield. In 14 minutes, they saw over an inch of rainfall. That is how heavy some of this rain is coming down. And then near Brunswick area, Westlaw Road is now closed. You can see the bulk of the heavy rain heading through Cuyahoga County out towards the east. Very heavy rain, some lightning flashes, Portage County, areas of Cuyahoga County as well. And then down towards the south Worcester, you're dealing with downpours. Here's how much rain estimated has fallen in the last 24 hours. Pockets of 1, 2, 3 inches. Problem is, last 2 days, we've dealt with 2 to 5 widespread across northeast Ohio. And this is going to continue. There's a low pressure off towards our west, that pinwheel motion coming out of the Gulf of Mexico. This is a 2-day loop. Look at this low pressure just kind of sitting here slowly. It is all sunshine from here out towards the Rockies. It's beautiful out there, but we happen to reside on the east side of this, and look at that flow coming right out of the Gulf. Again, we can wring out the atmosphere. We can tell how much water's up above us. It's called precipitable water. We're over 2 inches right now. That's about 200% of normal. So if we were to wring out that atmosphere, we could easily wring out 2 inches on the ground. Lots above us. All right, National Design Mart hour by hour forecast. Things should start to subside tonight. We can't rule out showers overnight tonight, though, in that atmosphere. We settle down into the 70s. More fog, kind of hazy and gloomy tomorrow morning. Feeling November-like, right? We need some sunshine. I do think we get pockets of sun tomorrow, but as you see as we go throughout the day, if you're heading out on a canoe trip, not going to make a joke to the flooding because that's serious, but we're definitely going to be dealing with Some rain around tomorrow afternoon as well. I want to have that WKYC radar app handy because we're going to be likely dealing with downpours and maybe a severe threat tomorrow, especially if we get more sunshine, more of the same. How much rain? It doesn't fall evenly in thunderstorms, but you get the picture. Anywhere from 1 to 2 inches where the rain comes down heaviest. Other areas not going to see much at all. Final thing I want to show you, this is your precipitable water. This is how much water we're wringing out of the atmosphere. We get a break on Wednesday, not as much moisture out above us. But then we get into the weekend. There's another front that's moving in here on Friday. You can see that reflected on your Union Home Mortgage 7-day. We get a break, I think, on Thursday. Wednesday even looks mainly dry. Up near 90 on Thursday. There's the front Friday, Saturday with more rain. And then we're going to clear things out for days next week. Looking great. We'll be back.
I am out.
Ah, Wellington, that sweet little burg in Lorain County, well, it's being transformed for filming Adam Driver's movie. Today, crews were in the village filming White Noise. The Ohio Film Office says the Netflix production is benefiting from $24 million in Ohio motion picture tax credits. It's expected to be released sometime in the next year. Now here's Kira Cotton with the rest of today's Pop Break.
Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence are both comedic legends, but few could have guessed that their children would end up as an item. Over the weekend, Martin's oldest daughter, Jasmine, confirmed her relationship with Murphy's oldest son, Eric, in a post on Instagram wishing him happy birthday. It's unclear how long the two have been dating, but in a separate post, Eric claims to be head over heels in love. While the two are separated by roughly 7 years in age, their paths could have certainly crossed as their parents worked closely together in the early 1990s.
I just want to introduce my new babies to the world.
Jessica Biel is stepping into a new business venture. The wife and mom of two announced that she's co-founded Kinder Farms, a health and wellness brand for families. The first product to launch under the brand is Kinder Light, a natural metal-grade hydration that helps with all forms of dehydration without artificial sweeteners, colors, or flavors. In a recent interview, she said that the most important thing was to create products that she really felt she could stand behind as a mom and as a woman and a wife. Their next product, an organic protein shake for kids called Kinder Sprout, is expected to launch next month. And Mattel has a new Barbie just in time for the Olympics. Introducing the Naomi Osaka Barbie role model. The doll features Naomi's signature curly hair and is sporting a replica of the outfit she wore during the 2020 Australian Open. Promoting the doll on Instagram, Osaka wrote, "I really hope every child is reminded that they can be and do anything. This is really seeing a dream of mine come to life." The doll is available now on Amazon.
Naomi Osaka first teamed up with Barbie back in 2019 for its 60th anniversary, and it was a huge hit. And this latest release has proved to be no different. According to Mattel's website, the doll is already sold out, and there's no word on when more will be available.
Wow.
Man, I love that.
Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Oh,
That's exactly right. That's how they do it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Sure thing. Well, Richard Branson, he's the winner chicken dinner in the battle of the billionaires in the race to space. We'll have the very latest on his record-breaking journey.
And as more and more companies are having their employees return to work, how will the pay structure change for those that continue to work from home? We're going to take a close look at that when What's New comes right back.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
And we welcome you back to What's New. We begin at 5:30 with three things you need to know right now. Former Nickelodeon actor Drake Bell was sentenced for crimes that took place in Cuyahoga County. The Drake and Josh actor, now 35, previously pleaded guilty to attempted endangerment of children and disseminating harmful material. He said today he accepted the plea because his conduct was, quote, wrong. Meanwhile, the now 19-year-old victim asked the judge to give Bell the maximum sentence. She claims he started grooming her when she was 12 years old and that several inappropriate text chains along with an inappropriate relationship took place. Today, a Cuyahoga County judge sentenced him to 2 years probation, 200 hours of community service, and no contact with the victim.
Representatives from Pfizer are scheduled to meet with federal health officials sometime today to discuss the possibility of a COVID-19 booster shot. The company plans to seek FDA approval for a third shot of their vaccine. But The FDA and the CDC later released a joint statement saying fully vaccinated people don't need a booster at this time, and that the vaccine protects people from a severe case of the virus and death. It also protects against current variants.
And the Ohio Task Force 1 announced that the group in Florida will be returning home. You may remember that's the crew who spent the last 2 weeks searching through 14 million pounds of rubble and debris from that building collapse in Surfside. According to a Facebook post, the team will arrive home by Thursday. So far, the collapse has killed 94 people. 83 bodies have been identified. 22 people are still missing. And with that, we welcome you back to What's New for the second half hour on this Monday afternoon. Along with Betsy Kling, I'm Jay Crawford. A lot of rain out there. Weather's stealing the headlines. It really is coming down.
It is coming down across a good chunk of the area. And interestingly enough, July 12th, today's a big day for our station because everybody's allowed back in the building.
Yeah,
it's our first day with a full newsroom.
I know.
We're seeing people that we haven't seen in 16 months. It's been so fun.
It feels like the old normal again.
Yeah.
I mean, we're getting closer and closer to that. And I know a lot of folks across the state are back to work in most places. Still, some are working from home, but it feels good. It really does.
Well, we have a story about if you're still working from home, how that may affect pay scales. I'm really interested to hear a little bit more about that. But we're going to start with our top talker. Sir Richard Branson is the first name on the page of a new chapter in space travel. Virgin Galactic's crew made it to more than 53 miles up. That is beyond what NASA and the U.S. military says is the edge of space.
Betsy Branson hopes this is just the beginning of an even greater journey. Here's NBC's Tom Costello now on the so-called Battle of the Space Billionaires.
Release, release, release.
The space race between billionaires has a winner.
That is a full duration burn, folks. We are headed to space.
Blasting off 46,000 feet above the New Mexico desert on Sunday at speeds over 2,300 miles per hour. Sir Richard Branson and a crew of 5 others aboard Virgin Galactic's Unity spaceship, soaring to the edge of space.
Welcome to space, Unity 22.
The journey 17 years in the making and a lifelong dream for Branson.
I was once a child with a dream, looking up to the stars. Now I'm an adult in a spaceship.
Their flight reaching 53.5 miles high, affording the crew roughly 4 minutes of weightlessness and a truly out-of-this-world view before descending and returning home.
It's a complete experience of a lifetime. And now I'm looking down at a beautiful spaceport.
More than an hour after takeoff,
And there is full stop.
a moment to rejoice,
A perfect landing.
followed by triumphant celebration back on Earth. We spoke exclusively with Branson and his children, Holly and Sam.
Sir Richard, congratulations. How are you?
I will come down with a bump soon.
Did it live up to your expectations and your hopes?
I've always dreamt about what it would be like to be in space looking back at this incredible Earth. It's impossible to describe just how magnificent it is.
The entrepreneur adding a new title to his resume, civilian astronaut, and he has the hardware to prove it.
Show us the wings. You worked hard for these.
I'm afraid nobody will ever be able to take them away from us. Once you're an astronaut, you're always an astronaut.
His excitement uncontainable.
I got to show it off.
For Branson's family, it was nerves that were sky high.
I don't think I would be a loving son if I wasn't worried.
I knew fundamentally they were going to come back, but it's quite hard when your dad's going to do something so pioneering that no one else has really done.
I only did it to see whether she loved me.
Virgin Galactic's first full passenger test flight comes just 9 days before Jeff Bezos is expected to climb inside his Blue Origin rocket. The Amazon founder congratulating his competitors, adding, "Can't wait to join the club."
I hope that he has an extraordinary experience as we do.
Things are looking great.
Now a new goal, cutting down that $250,000 price tag for a ride. Doing so could make space tourism a possibility for the masses and allow everyone to see the world from this new perspective.
To the next generation of dreamers, if we can do this, just imagine what you can do. Hey!
Wow, pretty
Can you
cool.
imagine?
So the one thing that has always jumped out to me about Sir Richard Branson is his youthful exuberance. He has the curiosity of a child. And he has the money to explore those avenues. Very few people do.
Right.
And I think it's fun to watch as this whole space race, this sort of civilian space race evolves, because it was originally going to be Bezos. And then Sir Richard Branson said, well, I'm going to speed it up. And now he's going first, and Elon Musk is involved. And I love what he said there. Imagine for the future generations, if we can do this, what you can do.
Absolutely. And they're very different, rocketry, very different vehicles that they're going to be taking. So it'll be interesting to see how all that shakes out. By the way, Sir Richard Branson and Virgin Galactic have announced they are partnering with the fundraising platform Omaze to launch a sweepstakes for 2 tickets on a Virgin Galactic space flight expected to go in 2022.
I think it's going to be a huge industry. I know he said it's $250,000 for that flight.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of people that are willing to spend money, these super rich people, to experience this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I think there's going to be an avenue to make some money in this down the road.
I agree.
Pretty cool. All right, coming up on What's New, if you're anything like me, you have Burger Week circled on every calendar you own. Well, it's here, and Lindsey Buckingham has all the details coming up.
And Italy wins the Euro Cup, but the way it ended has led to a situation for the losing nation. We have those details when we come right back. Also, Matt, we just got a flash flood warning for Cuyahoga County.
Yeah, I can't see it through the CSU Skycam, Betsy.
Yeah, look at that.
That is how heavy the rain is coming down right now. We've also got a lower cloud level. We were talking about that, but you're right. Brand new flash flood warning for Cuyahoga County. We talked about that the front half of the hour, so that's not new news. We have ongoing flooding across the area. Also, new funnel cloud reports coming in from some of these cells down in Southern County. Just a very messy atmosphere right now. We'll step you through it, let you know what you can expect, not just tonight, but over the next 7 days when we come back.
All right, let's talk about over there in the Weather Center. Matt, you want to get us up to date with everything that's going on?
Yeah, we talked about that brand new flash flood warning for Cuyahoga County. It is imminent across the area. The problem with Cuyahoga County in cities, you don't have the drainage systems that you do in the country, right? A lot of pavement, so it takes a while for that to drain out. So that's why you often have the flash flood warnings in Cuyahoga County. We get them in the Akron area a lot, even Mansfield. But look at the rain. The bulk of the rain, if we look at big picture pattern, this wave's moving through. So eventually, most of it's going to transition off towards the east, but it's going to take some time. These are your brand new flood reports. This one in near the Strongsville area, Boston Road near Boone Road has flooding ongoing on the roadway. This one just in over the last minute or so, flowing water on Snow Road at State Route 237. The road is flooded. We're going to be getting a lot more. These are the reports coming in. That's not what's happening right now. I guarantee there are a lot of other roadways that are flooded out there due to all the rain that we've had. So where's the rain now? We've dried out southwestern Cuyahoga County. That's the good news. Bad news is that rain has transitioned east 1 to 2 inches per hour with this. Thankfully, it's not lasting an hour. It's getting through in about half hour or so. Garfield Heights down towards eventually northern Summit County, about to get some rain. Real heavy rain out towards east. Haven't seen quite as much here today, but we're catching up quickly. Middlefield, areas of Cuyahoga County, getting ready to head into northern Trumbull County, also Portage County near Garrettsville, picking up some heavy rain, some lightning with that as well. We've seen some low-level rotation with this. It's not rooted down to the surface, so we don't have a huge tornado threat at all today. But a lot of these have been producing funnel clouds, so they're pretty ominous as they're coming on in. And we're going to keep a close eye on those as we go throughout the rest of the evening, obviously passing along any information. Just kind of messy outside. That's it. Worcester, you've got rain off towards your east, another round getting ready to head in. Bright green shaded area, that's where you don't want to be right now. That's where we've got the imminent flooding. If you get into the flood advisory, aerial flood advisory areas, we likely have some flooding as well. Maybe not quite as bad, but still our issue is we've had 1, 2, even 3 inches of rain today. Last 2 days, this is where we've picked up the bulk of the rain. Look at that, right down the 71 corridor, 2 to 5. You can even up that to 6 inches of rain over the last 2 days. Too much for that ground to soak in, at least in the near term. So the pattern, it's going to start to change. We've got one more day of this. There's an upper level low just kind of parked off towards our west, like a water wheel. If it were going around and collecting Gulf of Mexico water, it's bringing it right up to the Ohio Valley. So we can really wring out a lot of moisture out of this atmosphere. Water vapor gives us a good picture of the streamline that we have coming right out of the Gulf. Eventually it'll head east, but we've got again tomorrow to get through. So let's time out the rain. National Design Mart hour by hour forecast through tomorrow. Can't rule out some more rain tonight. Won't be quite as heavy. That's the good news. It'll be kind of a soggy, murky start once again tomorrow with all the moisture in place. Ought to make a run into the low 80s tomorrow. I do think we get more peaks of sun than what we saw today. That's good and bad news. It'll keep the rain at bay, at least for a little bit, but then once it starts popping, we could be dealing with some thunderstorms tomorrow, and we may have a little severe risk tomorrow with some of these storms, especially if we pop that sunshine. But you could see the nature, mainly afternoon and evening, heavy rain possible once again tomorrow. Rainfall amounts, just look at this as a trend. Don't look at your town and see the number, half an inch or more, where we see some of that heavy rain. Models kind of signifying north towards the lakeshore once again. What about that old muggy meter? When are we out of this tropical soup? Well, not until Friday. That's when we get the front in here. The weekend looking better at this point. Depends on what model you follow, but we're going to go optimistic here as we always do at 3 Weather. Union Home Mortgage 7-day forecast. Low 80s next couple days. We keep the rain chances not as prevalent on Wednesday, so we'll start to dry out a little bit. Thursday looks great but hot, and then Friday, Saturday, there's your frontal boundary. More heavy rain possible, and then we're going to dry us out from there. So we're talking maybe sunshine for days. Hopefully next week, Jay. Sounds nice after this.
Okay, Matt, thanks, I think. All right, if you're a burger fan, we have some great news. This whole week is honoring your favorite food. Cleveland Burger Week kicks off today. Here's Lindsey Buckingham now to break down all of the delicious details.
Hungry? Okay, good. Because all you'll need for Cleveland Burger Week is a big appetite and a burger passport. More than 30 local restaurants are ready to feed you their most creative take on America's favorite sandwich.
Get a little bit out of your comfort zone. So if you're on the east side, head downtown. If you're on the west side, head east. There are restaurants participating really all over Northeast Ohio.
Check this out. Each time you try a burger, you get a stamp on your passport. Then you submit it on the Burger Week website, and you're up for some really cool prizes. If you don't eat meat and you think you can't participate, think again.
So many of the participating restaurants will be providing various options. We recommend that they provide some vegan options, vegetarian options. Some will offer gluten-free buns.
Lindsey Buckingham,
3 News.
All right, now I'm starved.
I know, I am too.
I came in, I was mildly hungry, like I always am. But after seeing that now, I might start to eat my own forearm. Cleveland Burger Week runs from today through the 18th, which is good. I think we should have Cleveland Burger Month, but it wasn't up to me. Burgers, I'm told, are $6 and adventurous.
Oh.
Now, I had to ask, what do you mean by adventurous?
Right.
And our wonderful producer, Mo, tells me that she means that they're not your average burger. So they're a little different. There's a twist to these burgers.
New flavors.
Yeah, which is, I like to try new things. If you need more information, go to our website, WKYC.com. Do you have a favorite burger, like a favorite style to have it done, or no?
I like cheeseburgers. I actually like really good old-fashioned, just plain cheeseburgers.
Plain cheeseburgers. Here's a tip. I love this. Toasted bun. When you're cooking on the grill, just throw the bun on there. Just about 30 seconds. Get a little toast to it.
Yep. Have you ever had brioche buns?
Oh, they're my favorite. They're my absolute favorite. They're so good.
That's like the icing on top.
Yeah, it really is. It makes a great burger even better.
Absolutely. All right, ahead on What's New. Will permanent work from home situations change the pay scale in the American labor market? We're going to take a look at that next.
And did you know there was such a thing as International Mud Day? I did not until today.
Really wish
it
I
is a
did
real
when I was a
thing.
kid.
Yeah, I wish I'd have known that too. We have video to prove that it's a thing, and we're also going to give you a fun fact about playing in the mud that I bet you didn't know. Well, you may have seen the thrilling finish to the 2020 Euro Championship match yesterday between England and Italy. Italy won the match, which went to penalty kicks. But it's what happened after that match that has dominated the headlines since. Several black players for England have been subjected to a storm of online racist abuse stemming from missed penalty kicks. Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, and Bukayo Saka all missed their spot kicks. And the online comments are now being investigated by police there. They have been horrific, many of these comments. Team leaders and managers, as well as politicians and religious leaders in England, have all spoken out about this social media abuse. This was a hot topic to begin with this England team, because it's been highly politicized, much was the case in the NFL a season ago. this team has taken a knee before every match, striving, of course, for racial equality, a move that has not been well received by many fans there. And then when these 3 black players missed their penalty kicks, you could feel that this was a storm that was brewing, and it was really ugly the way it spilled over onto social media. And I don't know what they're going to do about it. The players and the team actually want the tournament organizers to come out and speak out against the racist abuse because, Betsy, it has been ugly, and that's being kind.
Yeah, well, I don't understand how someone could think, I'm going to go on social media and type a message. You know, it's disgusting. And I hope they figure out something to do to get back.
Yeah, I do too. You know, we ban social media accounts. That's a thing, apparently, and that's at the discretion of the platform owners. And I believe that this should be, if you're going to ban somebody, this hate speech, some of it is absolutely vile.
That should be like priority number 1.
Yes, yeah, we don't need it. We do not need it.
Well, after more than a year of working from home, companies are having to decide whether employees will return to the office. Now, for some, staying remote could actually impact their pay. Marissa Sines reports.
Life at Greg Arrington's job before the pandemic was what we defined as normal.
Just like most people, 5 days out of a week, 9 to 5.
But after working remotely for a year, he's now said goodbye to that way of living for good.
This is probably one of the good things about the pandemic that led up to it.
Arrington now bounces around the country while on the clock.
Have they ever asked you where you are?
All the time.
But when the work life started to shift back to the office, he sought a new job, one that would allow him to work remotely.
This company is based out in Texas.
Which raises the question, do employers need to pay you the same if you don't return to the office?
I had to negotiate that, and they were willing to comply.
For Arrington, no pay cut was required, but surveys online, like the survey of working arrangements and attitudes, shows that some are willing to take pay cuts, as much as $30,000 to stay home.
This job market is going to be exceptionally tough for top-tier talent.
President of Cleveland Society for Human Resource Management, George Samples, says this is where things can get tricky.
Pay cut at your peril. I think you will lose when it comes to the overall talent profile of your organization if you decide to go that route.
According to Sample, a working hybrid option is what's most common amongst companies in Northeast Ohio.
It's going to vary a lot when we talk about just at the organizational level.
Major companies in our area, such as Progressive Insurance and Sherwin-Williams, have already said they'll have employees return to work. While it depends on the industry and the company, Sample says employers need to consider both the employee and the job.
There are going to be some employees that just don't come back to the workplace.
I think that is such an interesting topic of conversation.
I do too.
I think Marissa did a great job on that story, kind of presenting it as, there's some wiggle room there. Maybe you offer up a pay cut if you want to stay home, if they're going to let you do that. I guess I never really thought of trying that.
What's funny, in our business, I mean, whoever would have thought we could broadcast from our homes?
Well, yeah.
But, I mean, you and I both did that over the course of the last 16 months and for stretches of time. What's interesting to me is the fact that so many people were willing to take a big pay cut, not just a little pay cut.
$30,000 is significant.
That's not a haircut. I mean, that's a lot of money. And I think what we're seeing as we move out of this pandemic is flexibility comes at almost no price. Like, just to have that flexibility and that wiggle room, for some, it's priceless.
Yeah, and the hybrid idea is super cool if you're able to juggle and do that. With kids not being schooled at home this next year, that opens up more possibilities for a lot of folks. So it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out.
All right, still ahead, fun in the mud. Why these kids got permission to get all muddy. It's ahead in our Show Us Something Good.
And coming up on What Matters Most at 6, we do have breaking news to tell you about. University hospitals commenting tonight on a mistake involving a kidney transplant procedure. We'll have new information coming up.
And how about this? Today is National Different Colored Eyes Day.
It's your day.
I didn't even know this was a day.
Now it's your day.
Well, here's the question. What percent of people actually have different colored eyes? Is it 1%, 3%, 5%? Think about it. We'll have the answer when we come back.
You're very special.
I guess so.
Al, how are you? Testing, good evening, and thanks for being with us. I'm Russ Mitchell, and I'm that pesky Laura Queso.
Is here.
All right.
Turning on my face, Russ. Sorry about that.
Sure, no, it was on 2 different printers. You good?
Yeah, thank you so much. Hey, Al, mic check. 1, 2, 3.
National Day in Court. Today, Emotional Day in Court. His actor Drake Bell was sentenced to charges relating to child endangerment after he admitted.
Sorry, I thought you were asking me for mic check. Laura Queso's mic. Mic check 1, 2, 3. How's the height? Should I come up a little bit? Okay.
Queso, I gave Christina the contact number for LifeBank's CEO, which is who.
With an attack.
Check 1, 2, 3. Brandon's microphone. We're talking about masks in school districts deciding whether or not they're going to be. Thanks. Okay. All right. Sounds good.
All right, before the break, we asked you what % of people have different colored eyes. That's because today is National Different Colored Eyes Day, and it's 1%. So my condition, Bets, is extremely rare, which I've known for a long time. It's called heterochromia.
Lots of people ask that question when I'm out and about. Does Jay really have 2 different color eyes? I'm like, yeah.
Yep,
He's a husky.
I used to tell people when I was young it happened because I put toothpaste in that eye.
Oh, jeez.
People bought that story for years.
Well, all right, let's go to our show with something good. You're so ornery.
I know.
Kids at a preschool in Colorado got the chance to play in the mud. This is an awesome school day, right? The kids were celebrating International Mud Day, and it was a learning experience too, because as we can tell you, playing with mud helps kids with cognitive development because they're using all of their senses at the same time. And man, do you have some fun. Now, typically when I would play in the mud, it was more of a head to toe total coverage.
Yeah, me too. I wish I'd have known that when I was young because I could have then told my mother, Mom, it's actually good for me to play in the mud.
Absolutely. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, lots of mud out there now. So hey kids, have at it. Just make sure you ask permission and have a clean way to get into the house to get cleaned up.
Yes.
Well, thank you all so much for joining us on this very rainy Monday afternoon.
What Matters Most with Russ and Laura starts right now.
Now at 6, rising water. After a soggy weekend and more rain today, flooding can be seen all around Northeast Ohio. The chief is tracking the latest round of rain that could make things even worse. Also, tough testimony.
I adored him